In this video, I will show you how to read and customize your company preferences. The company preferences are under the Administration section. Just click on the menu item here and you'll see the Preferences page. You can edit the preferences by clicking on the Edit arrow here on the right. In the General section, you have the company name, your absence course dictionary, and your default calendar. Below that, you can personalize the Engage user interface with your company colors and logo. The new colors need to be entered in the 6-digit hexadecimal code prefixed with a hash sign. You can set your average cost per absence day to be used in the absence reports. If you're not sure what your absence costs in your organization, have a look at the absence cost calculator on our website at absencehub.com. You can also define what your policy states as long-term absence and medium-term absence. You can leave the medium-term definition blank if this is not something you use. You can also set your target absence level. This option for the RAP or Report a Problem form is only relevant if you're using our call center enabled absence reporting service. If you use the holiday management tools, you can set your holiday year and, where necessary, add additional years for different parts of the company. Your default annual leave allocation will automatically be allocated to all employees and can be overridden for chosen individuals in the Employees section. For most companies, holiday entitlements are calculated in days, but our application also supports more complex or flexi-time reporting where employees may work different hours and different lengths of shifts on different days. In this type of scenario, the length of each day is managed via the Calendar section. You also have some optional features that you can enable to customize the return to work interview forms and the emails that are sent out. Your company policy and sick pay rules can be displayed to managers as reference material. Completing these sections is optional. The next section in your company preferences is the script for absence registration forms. If you use the call center service, this will define the questions Honeydew call handlers ask your staff members. If you use the self-service option, this will define what your managers or administrators are asked when registering an absence. The closing statements will appear at the bottom of the absence registration and update forms. You can choose to add additional questions about self-medication and whether a doctor's appointment has been made. You can also refer your employees to your Employee Assistance Program or EAP in specific cases, here when someone has had an accident at work or other injury. In addition to these predefined questions, you have the option to add any number of additional completely customized questions or messages. To add another question, just scroll to the bottom of the page and click Add another question. You'll type your question, choose the answer type and define when this question should be answered. When you save your changes, you'll be taken back to the overview of your preferences. Finally, to view your trigger settings, you'll need to scroll to the bottom of this page. After you've scrolled past the scripted messages that we just viewed, you will find the predefined settings for notifications and tasks. These are settings that Engage automatically generates for you, or settings that the Honeydew team have enabled for your company specifically. You can switch these off or on and choose what departments should follow the rules, but you can't delete them permanently. Further down still, on the same page, you will find custom settings for notifications and tasks. These are your own settings that you can customize or delete, and you can create an unlimited number of new rules. To create a new rule, click on the Create New Trigger Setting arrow. This is a 4-step process. First, you need to name your trigger. This name will be shown on some reports, so try to use something short and descriptive. For example, I want to flag up all absences that are longer than 7 days and caused by stress or depression. So I'm going to call my trigger stress 7 days. This trigger should fire if all of my conditions are present at the same time. Firstly, length of absence should be 7 calendar days. And secondly, the reason for absence should be depression or stress. You can also choose to restrict how many times this trigger can be tripped in a rolling period. This is quite useful for those triggers that are time related, for example 3 spells in 12 months. I'm just going to click on next. The second step is to choose what parts of the organization follow this rule. I only want to know if someone in the HR department is off with stress, so I'm going to tick that box here. The third step relates to tasks. I want the employee's manager to make a outbound welfare call when somebody is off with stress, so I'm going to choose outbound call and assign it to the employee's first and second line manager. I choose both the two so that they can share the tasks in case one is not available to make the call. Finally, I can choose if anyone should be notified when this trigger is tripped. I'm going to say it will be useful for the task owners to be notified, and I also want to know myself. Instant email and SMS messages are only available as options for triggers that relate to new or updated absence records, what we call absence events. So I can't choose those here, but I can include this as a message in the Daily Digest email, which is also called the Daily Tasks and Triggers Reminder. I'm going to add a message that explains to the recipient why the trigger was tripped and what action should follow. Then I click on save, and that's it. My trigger setting has been created.